So you're taking a look there at Wisconsin coming out of the boats. They're going to be debriefing, and they'll be headed back in to the green boats. They're switching in. What did they just come out of? Orange. So they'll be handing those off to Miami, who they'll be actually facing in this upcoming flight. Before the orange and green boats, we've got red and blue, which are just getting up to the starting line now. Red and blue are going to be UCSB versus Texas A&M Galveston. And we've seen these teams once already. UCSB taking the win from Michigan, Texas A&M Galveston dropping their first race to Miami. You can probably hear some voices from the dock. We may be able to kind of spy on these guys a little bit as they're switching. And it's always interesting to hear how teams debrief a race.
Yeah, very different.
Sometimes they all know what went wrong or what went right, and they can kind of just say, good job, or, oh well, tough one. Other times they like to rehash it all the way through, all the way around the course. I don't know if they know that we have a mic down there, but I'm not inclined to tell them. Well, I don't know what the holdup is on the course, so we'll continue to check in with the change dock. It's a good thing it's not windy. I think they would have to probably have these sailors just keep sailing a holding pattern rather than have them hold them on the dock, so they're kind of lucky in that respect. Well, if you're just joining us, we will be live all day, bringing you continuing live coverage from Lake Travis. This is the silver round racing. This is the consolation round for teams who did not make the top 8, and the results of this single round robin will determine the final standings for the national championship, places 9 through 14. We are just entering the second flight now. We've got UCSB coming up in red versus Texas A&M Galveston in blue. And we've got 5 flights to get through before the gold teams take the course. And they've got a second gold round robin before the final 4 tomorrow for the top places.
So Chris, do you think any one of these teams have sailed here before? What about, would Texas A&M come here very often?
Absolutely they would. Texas A&M Galveston is probably... Is that the closest? That is the closest commute, I think, for UT.
What would that be?
Or for A&M Galveston. It's about 4 hours, but in Texas time, that's nothing.
Yeah.
These guys are used to traveling long distances. So yeah, they were here in this venue, in these boats, for all 3 district championships. So they have seen 6 days of racing in these particular boats, sailed right out here in the same exact spot. So yes, Texas A&M Galveston the most seasoned. I don't think.
Not necessarily the same conditions, but.
Well, no. Well, depends on what regatta we're talking about. I think over the past 6 days we've seen just about everything this lake has to offer, from hurricane force winds down to 0, nothing, and scorching hot temperatures. So I'm sure they saw some of
That's a constant.
Yes. Now, as far as the other teams go, I kind of doubt it. The University of Texas hasn't hosted any national championship in the past several years, and I can't think of any intersectionals that they would have come down for either. So, no, I think it's a pretty even playing field. In the University of Texas, of course, sailed in the women's championship. They did not. They placed second in their team race championship, which is not good enough to make an appearance here. So the host team, of course, spends lots of time up here, but they will not get to use that home court advantage.
Sun coming out here now, and it's very hazy, still really muggy, but the breeze is up a little bit from what we were initially seeing this morning. It's pretty nice conditions. Looks like we're about to get started down there now. We've got UC Santa Barbara in red, Texas A&M in blue, and they're just coming off the line now. Red looking pretty good down there towards the pin, and blue kind of owning this right side at the moment. Lots of tacking going on, and one of the blue boats from Texas A&M just starting now. That's quite a bit of a delay in the start there.
And we're seeing circles from the red from UCSB, so that may be a bit of an equalizer at the back of the fleet. I don't know what happened to that Texas A&M Galveston boat off the starting line. Well, Galveston does have the one here, and so that that's going to be their saving grace. Texas A&M Galveston probably thinking, I mean, at this point they're trying to sail fast up the course, but they're probably thinking in the back of their minds about a play 4. And that will mean that they want to get a 1-4-5. Right now they've got a 1-4-6. Well, I think. They may be getting past right now because those two red boats are not making it easy for what I thought was the 4th place boat. Obviously, UCSB is just looking to slow that boat down, push them into the back, and then they'll have a 2-3-4, which is very difficult to break up. Yep. Boy, you can probably hear it in our microphones here. The wind is coming up. Boy, is it ever. It hasn't reached that part of the race course, but behind us, the wind is really cranking up probably, 7, 8, 9 knots there. And we'll see if that reaches the race course.
Yep, still incredibly flat water. Very different to yesterday.
I don't know. I'm trying to estimate if this is going to be a new breeze direction. You'd kind of expect if it's starting over here and going that way, it would be a righty, but looking upwind, I'm not sure it's terribly different from the southeasterly predominant breeze direction that we've seen.
Chris, I think we're in our own breeze entirely over here.
I think you're right. We're not far from the course, but I do think we're in kind of a micro environment.
So that UC Santa Barbara boat that was heading out left thought they might have a little bit of something to come back on, but they're actually coming back behind. 2 boats out in front potentially though. Maybe a 1-3 or 1-2 for UC Santa Barbara coming up.
Yeah, that wind noise is sort of annoying. Sorry about that. Well, this race committee is not exactly rolling these starts along. I thought we would be into our second race by now, and they may be in sequence. They do look like they're sailing around down there, but I haven't heard any horns yet. So we'll keep it locked here on UCSB in red, Texas A&M Galveston in blue, approaching the windward mark now. UCSB is around in the 1. So Texas A&M Galveston gives up the 1. UCSB now in the 6. So that's a bit of a flip-flop. I'm not sure if maybe our vantage point was a little bit off earlier. It is kind of tough looking down at boats coming toward you. But UCSB making quick work of this second leg coming into Mark 2. They're close to a 1-2 as it is, but you can see the lead boat luffing their jib, setting up for a mark trap here. So this is a classic team racing play. What they're going to try to do is shut down boat 17, blue, and let their teammate come over the top. And it looks like they actually bailed on it. They don't really need to do much because boat 1 is already sailing fast over the top. But the idea there is to open the door for your teammate, let them go right through, and then close the door on your opponent to allow for a 1-2, hopefully with a little bit of a gap so that the downwind leg is a bit easier. It looks like they've got it now, but definitely not a big gap. You can see all 3 blue boats coming right up behind the lead red boats. They're getting them spread out left to right, which can be a bit dangerous. Once they become unbalanced, that's when you can really attack as the trailing team here. So Texas A&M Galveston really not out of it yet, despite having what looks like a 3-5-6, 3-4-6, hard to say from this angle. They're looking good. They're challenging that one, and they're getting these boats spread out away from each other. They really just got to keep focusing, going fast, and look for an opportunity to change around the position of these boats.
On the other side there, we also had another start, Chris, and it's...
Oh, red flag, and that's got to be Rule 42 because no boats were near any others. We talked earlier about Rule 42, the propulsion rule. You can't rock your boat downwind. Those umpires are on it. They're looking at the top of the mast. They're watching it go away from vertical, back to vertical. They're watching both the jib and the main sheet for pumping. And if they see it, they throw a red flag, and that's a 2-turn penalty. That is brutal for Texas A&M Galveston, now in a deep 6, and so that's going to put pressure on their teammates. You know, just as that was happening, Texas A&M Galveston back into the 1, but they don't have an easy play here. Their other boat is in the 5 spot. You know, they'd like to go for a 1-2. If they can't do that, they'd like to think about a play 4, which would be a 1-4-5. But for that first place boat, there's really no play at all. All they've got behind them is opponents. If they try to engage too hard, they're just going to get passed, and then the race is over. So you might see them put a little bit of a compression in here, try to slow the race down. You might just see them round the mark. Here they go. Yep, 16 stopping the boat, tempting boat 1 to go between them and the mark. Of course, that would not be allowed. They would not be entitled to mark room. Taking it wide, jibing back. But you can see the other team doing the right thing, kind of going around the outside, pushing them around the mark. They want them to get up the course. They want this race to be over and take the win with what is now a 2-3-5. So A&M Galveston 1-4-6, UCSB 2-3-5, coming up to the final beat. Neither one of those is a stable combination. Either one is just asking for trouble here. If they get one of their middle boats past, it's going to be all over. So who's going to execute better here on this upwind leg? UCSB boat 2 leading out to the left. Hey, we got graphics. UCSB in red, Texas A&M Galveston in blue. Coverage of the 2012 APS, ICSA APS Team Race National Championship, brought to you by Maclaren. Thank you so much to Maclaren for sponsoring this event, being part of college sailing and supporting sailors everywhere.
Chris, I have to say that I'm actually quite impressed with how Texas A&M is doing right now in this race. I know they're behind, but they definitely don't have as strong boat handling as some of the other teams. We saw that yesterday, we've seen that today. Just some of their maneuvers coming out of tacks, if they were to get an attacking drill, they're not really as strong, not coming out with as much forward momentum. Seems like getting their sails in and that sort of thing, just a little bit slower, a little bit looser. So they're doing pretty well to hang in here.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe they've kind of found their sweet spot with this breeze, that they're able to hang. And so far the tactics have been pretty sound. Now you can see with that wind direction change there, it looks like they are in a bit of trouble here with the 1-2 from UCSB. You can see boat number 2, that middle red boat.
Still surprisingly close, though.
Oh, they're
Look at
ducking.
this.
I thought they were going to be lee bowing there for sure, but no, boat 2 ducks. Les 18 cross to the left. They really wanted to cover the other blue boat, I suppose.
Santa Barbara making it difficult for themselves there, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think that could have been a good opportunity for a 1-2, and now they find themselves in a 1-3-4, not really covering anybody.
And coming downwind now, we see Michigan and who's that? Michigan and Oregon. Michigan in black and Oregon in yellow coming downwind. They had a bit of an interesting start. We caught on the other side. It was all black, which is Michigan, and Oregon had some trouble off the start line. I think they had a circle and also had
Jane, sorry to interrupt you. I just saw on the red and blue race, I just saw a red flag, and I don't know if this was boat to boat or if this was propulsion, but looks like Texas A&M Galveston is spinning. Boat 18 for A&M Galveston. The blue boat is spinning a 720. And that is just going to pretty much do it here. With UCSB in the 1 spot, they've got a 134. And Texas A&M Galveston has 2 boats in the back. We'll see if that second place boat is going to try something crazy here, but there's very little they can do at this point. Except maybe hope that another red flag will come out before the finish.
Not much runway right now, though.
No, and so that's going to look like a win for UCSB. This is their second win of the regatta. They've beaten Michigan now. They've beaten Texas A&M Galveston. Galveston now 0-2. And so that wraps up the first race of flight number 2, UCSB over Texas A&M Galveston. All right, now we turn our attention back down to black and yellow. Black and yellow, Michigan versus Oregon. And Jane, you were in the middle of giving us some great analysis when that red flag came out.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt.
I didn't see the whole thing, but surprised that yellow was is as close as they were. They were really dragging off the start. They had 2 boats really delayed on the start. 1 boat, I think we're just seeing them coming down. They're pretty big gap in 6th place, boat number 5. They spun and I think also had to return and restart because they must have been over an individual recall. So watching them come down now, we're seeing perhaps in yellow an Oregon boat going around first, and then 3 Michigan boats right up behind them.
Yep, a 2-3-4 here. They want to be pushing that yellow boat around, but in this breeze, it's really hard to be pushing anybody anywhere.
Yeah, that last boat definitely catching up on this run here.
Yeah, this is a compressed race. 2-3-4 is, I think, what most teams would prefer, aside from maybe having, boats 1 and 2 on a different leg. Yeah, and 3. Right. But, in a closer team race, 2-3-4 is a great place to be because you can spread out, you can kind of control the situation, and you can... Sorry, just getting a thumbs up there from one of the umpires, Brian McDonald. Big fan of the live show. 2-3-4 is, great. You can spread out, you can make adjustments, you can easily convert that into a 1-2 if given the chance. But right now, this race is so compressed, I don't think that the 2-3-4 has a huge advantage.
No.
Another penalty turn. Oh my goodness, boat 11 for Michigan, spinning circles on the left of the screen.
What is it for, Chris? What are they doing? Do you think it's pumping or sculling? It's so light down there.
I know. We're far away from the mark. It could very well have been a protest having to do with the rounding. And there's so much going on that we could have missed it. You wouldn't, you don't expect to see propulsion penalties upwind. Usually they come at the start when someone accidentally sculls up and then down and then up. Happens so much in team racing. You expect it downwind when they're jibing and can't keep control of the mast. Upwind, it just doesn't come up that frequently. You're usually trimmed in and sitting on the rail, and that's kind of it. But right after the rounding, it could have been either. It could have been a boat-to-boat thing, or it could have been a propulsion penalty.
Smooth sailing now. Definitely gets pretty light down at that bottom mark, but nice breeze as they come up this last beat.
Yeah, it's freshening up as the haze is starting to clear away a little bit. The sun's peeking out, and this breeze is coming up nicely. I hope it continues to build.
Yeah, I think we're forecast for more breeze. When we were out this morning at 6 a.m. or so, it was pretty breezy, so...
Nice little tacking duel here as Oregon is trying to do a pass back. Oh, there they go. Boy, that's just textbook right there. It took them 2 or 3 tacks to get into position, but now they've got it. Boat 6 to windward and ahead of boat 12, ragging the jib. Some people will tell you that letting your jib luff will disturb the air and slow down the boat. It doesn't really work like that. What ragging the jib, luffing your jib will do is slow your boat down and allow you to sit there and stop the boat behind you with your mainsail. You keep that main trimmed in tight, you keep your boat going flat, and going slowly, nobody can get around you. And that's what happened there. They've got him covered really tight. Their teammate just tacked into probably first place. And now Oregon is looking at a 1-2 finish. Really nice play there for boat 6 on Oregon.
You can also see coming into this frame, we've got the next race behind us, Miami in orange, Wisconsin in green, just rounding their second top mark. We'll catch up with them when they get down, when this other race gets done, but Miami looks pretty tight actually. Coming up to this finish, it's all yellow in front right now, and they've got a nice cover on the boats right behind them.
So, I was singing the praises of boat 6 there for Oregon. Assuming that their roster is correct, that will be Andrew Balter. Their starting crew is Mickey Scott, coming across the line in first there. Teammates Philip Gordon, who's also the team captain out there, and a great contributor to Chalk Talk, sailing with Jamie Way. Coming across 1-2 for Oregon and picking up the win. Nice race there. All right. Moving on.
Yep, so
This regatta is moving along nicely now.
We have Miami and Wisconsin on the run now. Miami in orange, Wisconsin in green. On the first beat, it looked like Miami was really off to a good start, but Wisconsin managed to convert it. I think they got out to the starboard lee line. Doing a good job here. They've got a 2-3-5 coming down. Nice breeze on this run. 13 just trying to stay ahead of 9 and keep that gap. Now these are two of the better teams in this division, in this group.
They are. They're two of the more competitive teams that we've seen this year. They also both have full-time coaches now, which some of these teams do not. A lot of these teams are student-run. Both Miami and Wisconsin have been student-run, and I think still continue to be for the most part. They have stepped it up with some coaching this year.
Yeah, when we were doing analysis earlier coming into this regatta, we definitely gave them a shot at making it into the gold round.
So what's Miami going to do here? They've got the 1, and right now it looks like they've got the 5-6 as well. Wisconsin, you can see on the far side, boat 14 off to the right, kind of in the distance, is really working hard to keep boat 8 away. They've still got another teammate, you can see in the foreground heading downwind. They really want to keep both of those orange boats in the 5 and the 6. They don't want it to get unbalanced as they enter the zone. Boy, that boat over there is doing a nice job. So we've got the lead boat already around, which it's tough because once you round that mark, you're on the other leg. You can't go back to help. You can only engage against boats that are on the same leg as you are. And so now Wisconsin has all 3 of their boats in the zone at the mark and ahead in a 2-3-4.
Though 8 is scooting round, looks like they're going to have to take it wide and give room to 2.
Yeah, I think they owe mark room to both of those boats, and so very quickly it's going to go back into a 2-3-4.
Just watching boat 9 here who did... Oh no, they're still to go around.
Yeah, I think they must have just taken a penalty turn there.
Strange.
I heard a whistle, but I didn't see what had happened. I think that's what that was.
So boat 7 jumping back in here, the lead boat, trying to help out the team.
So hard here, they've got 3 opponents that they need to take care of. They can't give up the 1, unless it's going to immediately turn into a play 2, and that's tough. It's
stopped.
Oh yeah, it stopped. Where's my... Your computer's CPU is not able to encode at the desired quality, bit rate, and frame rate, resulting in drop frames. Please lower the quality setting and start streaming again. If you're doing double or triple bit rate encoding, please reduce to the number of streams. Checking. Yeah, it's probably worth it to just close Chrome altogether. Yeah. Yeah. Now, what do we think about, we're at medium and mobile, and we have not been streaming at perfect quality pretty much the entire time. It's been 90% lower than that. I can drop mobile altogether, you know, and go to normal quality. All right.
Don't let him get to play one.
I just hit the live button, so why don't we just start? Pick it up in the middle.
So at the start, what was the call?
Now coming up to the finish, we have Miami and Wisconsin. Wisconsin has moved into the one. They're trying to.
Miami looking pretty good. Boat number 9 sailing through something there, giving a little bit more hope.
Yeah, you know, we saw Wisconsin when we last left them. Wisconsin had the 2-3-4. They've taken the 1, but they've lost their 3-4. Now they're more likely looking at a play 4. Oh, now it's even more confused. It's a 1-3-5 for Wisconsin. You know, these are all winning combinations that I'm rattling off, but making it much closer than I thought it would have been. They've yet to pick up a stable combination since they've been at the leeward mark. Now putting it on, it's going to be a 1-2. Nice boat handling there at the end. I mean, a 1-2 or a 1-3, either way is fine. If you just focus on the 3 boats to the right, they're really all that matter here. Wisconsin's got the 1, and they get through. It's going to be a 1-2 for Wisco, but boy, a nice comeback from Miami. I think they took advantage of the freshening breeze here up at the top, and were able to sneak out to the corners, bring it back, and make something happen. But a little bit too little, too late.
Yeah, but I think this is what's going to be exciting today. It's never over till it's over. There is always a chance for teams to come back. We saw it yesterday. Races we thought were over were won in stable combinations by a team, getting shook up on the last beat, and we're right here, able to see it all. Perfectly positioned for it.
So Wisco, with that win, brings their record in the silver round to 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
We saw them take down Oregon in the first flight of the round.
Yep, and then that'll put them on the top of the leaderboard. Still a lot of races to go though.
Yep, and Miami is now split 1-1. They have a win against Texas A&M Galveston, a loss to Wisco. Coming up is flight number 3. The first race will be red Texas A&M Galveston versus blue Michigan, and it looks like those boats are already on the course. This is good. Those teams have had time to get out there, so we should be starting that race very shortly. Of course, we still have other rotations that are going to be in our way. So if you've been with us all day, we've lowered the quality of our stream, and we apologize that we can't bring you full HD streaming quality, but hopefully it'll be a bit smoother. You won't have to miss parts of the race for jittery connections. I'm not sure if this is still mobile compatible. I fear that it may not be. You guys can let us know if you're able to catch this on your phones and mobile devices.
Yeah, we're going green again.
So waiting here, got a couple of switchovers, lots of boats on the dock at the moment. Sun is really coming out now. Seeing some of this haze clear up. Getting it hotter here. And next Next up, Texas A&M Galveston in red, Michigan in blue. Blue boats are still on the dock. They're getting yelled at to get out of here and head down to the start line.
Yep, getting yelled at to move along. So once again, if you're still not sure about the format, we have 5 flights for the Silver Round Robin. 6 teams competing for the bottom places 9 through 14. And after this is completed, these guys get to go home. They're done for the regatta, and we bring on the gold round. We're finished 1 gold round. We're going to do another full gold round, a round robin between 8 teams, and that is for the top positions. We'll be previewing that a bit later, and of course bringing you racing this afternoon, which should be very, very exciting. So we hope you stay with us. Things have been a little bit slow this morning, especially with this rotation and the breeze, but I think they're going to heat up and pick up very, very quickly.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what this breeze does. It sort of feels like it could be a day where it picks up. The forecast, I think it's not really supposed to get above 15. We're definitely not at 15 now, but it's definitely got some room to pick up.
So while we're waiting, let's tune into the scene on the dock and see what we can see, hear what we can hear. I'm gonna kind of tune in. Miami's having a little debrief there. We've got Kate Taylor, assistant
Spy?
Yeah, assistant spy. A graduate from University of Texas, and on the crew today. Mostly just ambient noise, it sounds like. You can see Wisconsin chatting it up, getting ready to go out. And I'm not sure what the holdup is for the next race, though. Those boats are already out there.
Are the blue boats down there now? Yeah, we had a bit of a delay with blue on the dock.
Okay, so we are getting word that blue is still heading out. I thought they were already out there, but we'll get this started soon. So there's University of Miami. They're going to be coming up against Oregon in race 9. Hanging out for now. Wisconsin will be headed out shortly for their race against UCSB. They're headed out now. Well, we've got our stream open. We hope that you're enjoying the coverage. If you have any questions for us, go ahead and post onto the live stream page. We'll try to take a look at that every few minutes and answer your questions, especially during this downtime between races. But the racing should begin very shortly. It looks like a nice breeze now coming across the course. Feels good. That was a 10 knot gust I think we're in right now.
Yep, definitely feeling a change.
Sails on the dock are starting to flap. I think we're moving into a different pattern here as we near 11:30 Central Daylight Time. Alright, pretty soon we're going to have to ask Miami to move these boats out of the way, because we are getting ready for the start of Texas A&M Galveston versus Michigan.
So it all moves pretty quickly, Chris. This is third flight. We only have 5 flights for these guys, and then they're done.
Yeah, the whole thing is pretty short. Someone said yesterday it's not exactly the most ambitious schedule. There are intersectionals hosted by Navy, by USF and Eckerd. by Connecticut College, where they have more boats and they're able to do more races. And the goals there are always to get as many races in as possible. At a national championship, it's a little different. They set ahead of time what the goal will be, and they can always shorten it, but they don't allow the host to lengthen it. And of course it doesn't really apply here since the host school is not racing, but in general they don't want to have a host school have the ability to lengthen the team racing to allow themselves some kind of advantage. Not that anyone would, but we'd hate to leave it open to question.
Yeah.
So yeah, a single round robin here, a single round robin in gold, and a single round robin for the final four. We'll probably end up finishing early as long as we don't have wind delays, but that is the scheduled format. Now, have we heard any horns yet for the sequence? It seems like they're ready to go. It should be any moment now. Red and blue already lining up at the start. It may be that we just didn't hear it. I think so. I think we're very close to the start, actually.
Is that some swimming going on down there?
It sounds like it.
Yeah. So I was just also checking back at scores from semi-finals. We did semi-final qualifiers for co-ed nationals, which are coming up after the finish of this regatta tomorrow. And we were just watching Miami and Wisconsin, two great competitors, and Miami won the qualifiers for the co-ed nationals. It's a really strong team, and then Wisconsin 6 in the semi-finals, same semi-finals, and we just saw Wisconsin beat Miami in team racing. Definitely can be stronger at one than the other.